an elevator that opens right into the street. How often do you see that? You gotta love these Japanese touches. I heard a video, I saw a video on a lady that looked like she was Indian, and she was complaining that after 7 years of living in Germany, she's still very much an outsider. And she was complaining that, even though she's worked there and she pays taxes there and she, has even a couple of friends, she never really gets treated like one of them. She doesn't get invited to parties, and the co-workers, of course, have to accept her because they're all forced to work in the same closed environment. What I want to remind you and that lady is that don't blame them. If you emigrate to another country, you will always be an outsider until you die. You are never like the ones who were born and raised there, and in many cases, if you don't look like them, even if you are born and raised there, you will be an outsider. And it is the same. If a German man came to, India and lived there for 20 years and whatever, even if you invited him to parties and accepted him, whatever, you will still know and consider him an outsider. It is just the way it is. It is just the way it is. Now, in some countries like Germany, they are less inclined to hide it, as a part of their culture. They are less inclined to hide it and pretend like, oh yeah, you're one of us and we love you. And they're just not warm, outwardly warm like people are, say, in South America. But it does not in any way, shape, or form mean that the ones in South America are accepting you into their culture as one of them any more than Germans or Scandinavians or any other nationality does. You are an outsider. You will always be an outsider. I don't care what anyone says. You will never get accepted. In cases where you marry a hardcore native, say you move to Hamburg, Germany. I say Hamburg because in the north of Germany, they're even more, tied into their culture and their way of living and everything than they are even in southern Germany. I've heard people from southern Germany, Munich, complaining that when they go to Hamburg, they get treated like an outsider. So can you imagine if you are from another country, another culture, and you have another religion and you have a completely different look than the local Germans there? It is just the way it is. Now, I was going to say, even if you marry one of the hardcore locals, you might squeeze and slide your way into them because the family of the person you married so much wants to make you feel at home and everything, and they might genuinely like you and whatever, but you are still an outsider. You're still not one of them. Or if you are part of the locals and another person emigrates into your country, he's still not one of us. It is the way it is. Accept it. That's just life. I had an old friend who passed away, God bless his soul. When things didn't go his way, he would say, those are bitter facts of life. It's just the way it is. And every time you want to complain about that, remember that if you were in your own country, in a place where you were born and raised, and you were one of them, one of us, and someone comes from outside, no matter how hard they try, no matter how long they stay, no matter how much you genuinely want to treat them and make them feel at home, they're still an outsider. There are some things that are innate in people that are born and raised, and also, sadly as it may be the case, if you don't look like them, For example, someone who has, Asian features and goes into Europe, even after 10 generations, they still look Asian. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. And many Europeans actually adore Asian, women. But you're still, don't look like them, is what I'm trying to say. Same with if you have dark hair and dark eyebrows, and someone has, you know, green and blue eyes and very fair complexion, etc. So before you complain, be honest, you know, be a judge of yourself and realize, how would you treat, how would you be reacting if tables were turned? It's just the way it is. Do your best to accept reality. When we accept reality, again, I include this in all my videos when I can. The whole red pill is accepting and knowing reality versus what we choose to believe and what feels good. Knowing the true intention of people as opposed to what we want to believe, what feels nice. Because when we fool ourselves into you know, living life by accepting what's easy and what feels nice, we are setting ourselves up for a guaranteed disappointment down the line. But when we prepare ourselves for what really is versus what we hope things to be, then we have a defense up our sleeve. We already have a shield that will protect us. When that inevitable ball drops, you are ready, you're prepared. You say, I knew it was coming, so I'm not shocked. All the best.